Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. So today's episode 17 of Huerto Urbana. And today you're actually going to see, if you remember a couple episodes back, I planted some potatoes with my daughter. And today you're going to see if any of that stuff actually gave fruit. That's what today's video is all about. So you're going to see a lot of the front yard more than anything. You're going to see much of the backyard, the planter boxes today. And the front yard, it's definitely more fertile. I can see the fertility. One of the reasons I can see it is because it's full of worms. It's full of worms, so it's becoming more and more fertile. I can't say it's perfect vegetable growing dirt yet. It's still pretty clay, and that's why I'm putting more and more organic material into it to try to even that out and try to make it as fertile as possible. But it's definitely coming along. It's a lot better than when I had actually got the piece of land. Well, I got the piece of land. It's a little piece of land between the street and the sidewalk. It's not really mine. It's just I'm using to plant some vegetables. But today you're going to see if I got any fruit from those potatoes I planted with my daughter. You're also going to see my banana tree. I don't know if you've seen also the past episodes. You've seen the banana tree and how it's been growing. How it started from just one little tree to now it's quite a few. And I talk about how actually say in the video, it's the only tree I planted where I actually see fruit. That's actually not true. And then I think about it. When I lived in Las Vegas, I had the privilege to live in a house that had about an acre of land. And of course, desert, so I used about 1/4 of an acre and actually made a little, to me, it was permaculture paradise. It was beautiful the way I planned it out and how it was going to be. But I had quite a bit of fruit trees planted, and 2 of them actually gave fruit before I left, which only lasted. I was only there for 2 years, so I didn't get to see too much growth. But 2 of the trees that actually gave me fruit was an apricot tree and a plum tree. The plum, I probably had 2 or 3 plums, and the apricots maybe 10 to 15 apricots. But those are the trees that I had planted where I've actually enjoyed the fruits of my labor. But those were trees actually given to me as a present, and they were already pretty grown up trees. I just transplanted them. So anything from seed, no, nothing ever. But I want to talk a little bit about that little permaculture paradise. My little permaculture paradise in the middle of the desert. Because I did that when I was living in Las Vegas. I took 1/4 of an acre, and actually, so the front part where all the wind came, I planted some corkscrew mesquite trees, which are native to the Las Vegas region, and those were my windbreaks. I had 3 of them, and that's the one thing that I did see grow quite a bit. They grew quite a bit in those 2 years it actually was there. But I used a tractor. I actually brought my dad's tractor from Utah and actually dug earthworks and everything. My garden beds were sunken garden beds, so I took out the dirt from underneath, and then I brought some supposedly fertile soil, which wasn't really. The guy totally said it was, but it wasn't at all. It was harder than anything. But I actually made sunken in beds where I grew the majority, tried to grow the majority of my vegetables. It never really worked out as I wanted because the dirt they actually gave me, the soil they gave me, wasn't that fertile overall. So it's a tough go. But I took all that dirt out, put that supposed fertile soil in it, and I had 4 of these sunken beds. And the reason they're sunken because in the desert you want to try to save as much water as possible. So when it rains and stuff, it goes into those beds. And I made some other little what they're called swells. These ditches that are level, and I put them on contour around this 1/4 of an acre, and I built around that contour. And that's where I planted all my trees, around these contour lines, all my fruit trees, and I had a just awesome 3-stage compost box where I made. It was actually made out of 4x8s. I had a chicken coop there that we made out of, my dad helped made a dome chicken coop. So we had chickens in the backyard. We were taking and then we used all their fertilizer to help the compost and speed it up and actually make a lot more fertile soil. But I never really got to see it grow because, like I said, it was only about 2 years. But man, those were beautiful times working out there in the desert sun. I mean, I didn't even feel the heat because it was just so much fun digging and building this little, I was hoping a little bit of paradise in the middle of the desert. But I never got to see it, how it really worked out, because we ended up beating. But I just wanted to share that with you because it reminded me of those 2 trees that actually did give me fruit. But we had all sorts of fruit trees. We had pomegranates there too. We actually had we had a peach that was from my grandma. It was a tree that she grew from seed, and unfortunately I wasn't able to take it with me, but I did take all my citrus trees. I have an orange and a lemon and a tangerine tree, and one of my orange trees is actually with my aunt now, and she told me the last time I was in the States that it's grown into a beautiful little tree, so I was pretty stoked about that. And that orange tree I actually planted from an orange seed when I was living in Iowa going to chiropractic college. So really interesting how it's gone from Iowa to Vegas now to a town in southern Utah where it's flourishing, and it's getting bigger and bigger as the years go by. And it still hasn't given fruit, but it should be giving fruit anytime soon, and that should be pretty interesting. So I kind of want to just share that because there is a couple of other trees where I ate, but I can't wait to try these bananas because I've been told that they're actually sweet bananas. You don't have to fry them or anything. You just take them off like a banana you buy in the store. You buy it, peel it, and eat it. It's super good. So I'm hoping that's how it is here. I've already given one of the trees to a buddy of mine, and hopefully I can hook other people up with these banana trees. They're super sweet because they just get tons of rhizomes. So hopefully I can hook them up to a lot of people. Well, hope you enjoy this episode. You guys are awesome, and well, we'll see ya.
Hey everybody. Well, I came out here to see if I could find any potatoes, and those potatoes I planted about 2.5 months, almost 3 months ago, and I'm about halfway digging them up, and this is what I found up until now. So not much, a couple potatoes, but I'm also cleaning up, so again taking out all the trash. But what really excited me about this little piece of land is that it is full, but just full of worms, and I've seen some huge ones too, so that makes me happy to know that this place is becoming more and more fertile as we continue to work the land. Not much potatoes so far. I'm going to continue to dig the rest of them out, see what we got, and then I'll probably cook some potatoes today. Some little teeny ones, that's about it. But kind of interesting. What really excites me is the amount of worms that I'm finding in this little piece of land. Well, I got all the potatoes out, not many, but I was able to clean it up. I was able to play in the dirt a little bit, so that's very good. The more we do that, the better we're going to be. So make sure you play in the dirt. And yep, those are all the potatoes I was actually able to take out. That's it. But it's better than nothing. I imagine it's because of the lack of sun or in this area of dirt, but yeah, this soil definitely needs a lot of compost still. It's still pretty clay. There's lots of clay in here. But it's a ton better than what it was. So since we've been here, you can actually see here, it's still pretty, it almost forms shapes out of it, and it's still pretty clay, but it's a lot better than what it was. So it's coming along. I'll probably put some more compost on it to let this continue to build up, and then we'll plant something else. We'll plant something else in here and continue on. Good times. Got some potatoes. I'll eat some potatoes today. Well, there's the potatoes and some organic green onions that we get from the market we go to every Friday, and those are potatoes from the garden. So I'm going to cook those up. I'm going to saute them, and I might throw in a couple eggs, and we'll see how it comes out. So that's food straight from the garden to the table. And that's the finished product. So 2 tomatoes from the garden, potatoes from the garden, egg that I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like it's a pretty good egg. We get eggs from a good guy that brings into our house, and green onions that we bought from organic gardener farmer that lives locally. So that looks pretty good. So the tomatoes and the potatoes are actually from my little teeny mini planter box front yard garden.
And before I let you go, if you like this episode, if you like this stuff, don't forget to subscribe to my page. Get a lot more information at Pastos Verdes Farm. And thanks for watching me take this little obstacle I have and turning it into the way forward. See you on the next episode of Huerta Urbana in a couple weeks.